Welcome to our channel. Hi there, my name is Ranjan. I am a full stack DevOps engineer with 11.5 years of experience working in IT. I am also a 4.5-star rated Udemy instructor teaching more than 72,000 students worldwide. On this channel, my goal is to make you learn and grow by sharing my experience. So if you like my work, then do like this video, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe this channel for more such awesome videos in future. So let's get started. Thank you. Welcome. Let's go ahead and install the editor that we will be using for development. Go to Google and type Visual Studio Code download. Then click on the first link. Based upon your operating system, whether it's Windows, Linux or Mac, choose the installer and click download. You can click on user installer or system installer 64-bit. Once you have downloaded this for you, just double click on it and follow the normal installation process. After you have installed the Visual Studio Code editor, just open it and in your computer create a folder where you would like to keep the source code. So I have created a folder called Flexbox, which I have opened in my Visual Studio Code editor by clicking File, Open Folder. This is the place where I'm going to keep my source code. Next, click on this Extensions tab and search for Live Server. Click on this, the first one by Ritvik Day. Install this and restart your Visual Studio Code editor. This live server will help us run our HTML code on the browser in terms of server so that we don't have to refresh the browser again and again whenever we do the changes. So this is it for the installation process. Thank you. Welcome. Let's quickly go through in short what exactly is Flexbox. So Flexbox is a new feature introduced in CSS3 which helps us align our elements on the screen. So it says the official website says Flexbox Module, usually referred as Flexbox, was designed as a one-dimensional layout model and as a method that could offer space distribution between items in an interface and powerful alignment capabilities. What it means is if we are having multiple boxes on our screen, 1, 2, 3, how do we want to align them? One beside another, one below another. If it is a desktop, one beside another is fine, but what happens, it becomes tablet. Then there should be two on one row and two on another row. What if it becomes mobile? Then there should be one below another. So these kind of layouts we can achieve easily with Flexbox. We could have achieved these kind of things using float and position, absolute position relative, but those are not the right way to do it now because they add a lot of complexity while doing the layout alignments. So hence Flexbox brings the easiest way to align our elements on our screen perfectly as we need based upon our devices widths and heights and widths. So this is about Flexbox. Let's go ahead and see the Flexbox in action. Thank you. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and now create the skeleton HTML. So click on plus and type index.html. Again click on plus and type style.css. So in the index.html, just click on shift exclamation, hit enter. It's going to generate us the boilerplate HTML markup that we will need. Let's change the topic as Flexbox, the heading of the browser. This will show in the browser title. Next, type link and now link the CSS file here. And we go ahead and type here a section tag, and then a div tag, type lorem 30, so it's going to generate dummy text for us, 30 words. Save it, and let's go ahead and copy paste this two more times. Paste and paste. This is it. So now right click on this page, open with live server. If you have installed the extension, you will see this. So there we go. We have our markup with 3 div tags with their dummy content. Thank you. Let's continue in the next video. Welcome. Let's go ahead and style our elements. So I'm going to give a class to this section called container, and now I will go to the CSS style file and say container, and just say width as 100% and background color as, let's say, we'll change something. Instead of this, I'm going to use something like this, or maybe something like this. Let's go and see how it looks. So it looks like this with the background color, but if you see, there are at the corners there are some spacing left. These spacings are by default given by browsers, so we need to get rid of them. Hence, use the universal operator and say margin 0, padding 0. This universal operator, when we say use, it will allow us to get rid of this default margin and padding. Then we should also use something called as box sizing border box. So this will help us helps to calculate the right width even when margin and padding is specified. What I mean by that, let's say if the width is 100 pixel and if I give a 10 pixel margin, and if we don't give this box sizing border box, then the total width will become 110, but actually I wanted the width of 100. So to solve that problem, we have this box sizing as border box, which is also called as box model issue. So the box model issue will be solved now. So if I give a width of box width of 100 pixel, and if I apply a 10 pixel of padding or margin, then the width of 100 will remain 100. The margin or the padding will be calculated within that, so the actual width will remain same. That's what it helps to. So alright, let's go and check. So nothing changes. This is our screen and we have just given a background color. Okay, let's continue in the next one. Thank you. Welcome. Let's go ahead and style our boxes properly so that we can distinguish between them. So for that, I'm going to say container and the div elements inside the container, because that's what we have, div, another div. So I'm going to give a padding of 15 pixel and a border of 1px solid red. Let's see how it looks. So it looks like this now. That's fine. This is good. So at least now we are able to distinguish. Let's change the background color to something different. It is very dark. So this is looking better. So now in the next video we are going to see how to apply flex and make these things or these kind of things according to our design layout. Thank you. Welcome. Now it's time to apply the flex property. So there are certain attributes that we need to apply. So let's go ahead and see. So here we had an attribute called width, which we could provide some width, and it will be either big or small. Similarly, this is a attribute background color. We apply some color, it will change accordingly. Similarly, flex is nothing new. Flex is also added as a new key value pair for an attribute and its value in CSS3, and that has gave us the power to align our components easily on the screen. So flex is nothing new, it's just another attribute or the property we have to use. So how do we use that? So when we have this HTML, you see there are many things here. First thing is we have this div, we have this section which is the parent. It has three childs, one, two, three. There are three childs of these parents. So there are certain flex properties that gets applied on the flex child and certain on the flex parent. So these items are also called as flex items, and this is flex container. So the main property that we will apply on the parent is display of flex. Just observe what will happen. As soon as I will apply this, at this moment you see this is looking like this, right? One on top of another like this, in the column wise. As soon as I will say display flex, remember there was a property called display none. So it will hide everything. Gone. Similarly, they added new property called display flex. If you give this, then what will happen? It will automatically divide its child equally into three parts, and it will be aligning in the row. See, it is in the row direction. This in one row it will align automatically. So just applying display flex change the things from like this to this. But remember, we have to apply the flex display flex on the parent, on the container, not on the child. Alright, so this is about the display flex property which should be applied on the parent, like here on the section level. Thank you. So we saw just applying flex display flex on the parent makes our three child components align in one row by default. But let's say in this also I want to reverse them. I want this to come here and this to go here. How can I do that? So for that, let me first add 1, 2 for identification purpose that it is reversing, 3. And now if I go and just say flex direction, if I do flex direction row, nothing will happen. So 1, 2, 3, because by default flex direction is row. If I do row reverse, then it will reverse them. You see, 1 came here, 3 went here. What if I do flex direction column? Again, this property of flex direction is applied on the parent container. If I do column, then it will be like this. 1 at the top, 2 at the bottom, middle, and 3 at the bottom. If I do column reverse, then it reverses. 3 goes, first it comes to 3. First it comes to 3, 2, 1. So it reverses the direction. Hence, flex direction is a property by which you can rearrange the elements either in the column, one on top of it, other, reverse column, or row, like this, like this, like this, or reverse. By default, its property is column row. So we will give it as row, and nothing will happen. Everything will go back to its normal state. Thank you. Welcome. Let's say there's a requirement that you want to show this box. Now these three boxes are equally aligned in width. So this much width, this much width, and this much width. But let's say you want this box, this first box to take space of two boxes, and then other two boxes should adjust. We can do that kind of things also with the flex. with the help of flex grow and flex shrink properties. But we can use a shorthand way of it. So for that, I'm going to go ahead and apply some class here. So let's say I will say class equal to box1, and I will copy that to others as well. So now I am applying class to the children's, the flex items, let's call it. So flex items. So that is the flex container, which is this one, and these are flex items. So what will happen now is if I want to shrink or uh, grow one or more of the flex container or the items, then I have to do something like this. So I will say box1, I will say flex, and I will use the shorthand, which is, so there are properties like flex grow, flex sync, flex basis, but I'm going to use the shorthand flex, and then I will say 1. Similarly, I will repeat this, copy, paste, paste. So now 2, 3. So if I go now, nothing will change because each of the flex box or the containers are occupying the same space. Let's say I will increase the first one by 2. So you will see now this one is exactly occupying, double the width of this one. Same way, this one is occupying the double the width of this one. So you can bring these two are occupying half, and this one alone is occupying the half of the whole screen because we gave it that way. If I increase it to 4, then you will see in this first itself, this one of them will be accommodated 4 times. So if I cut this box and start putting 4 times here, then it will occupy. So that's what it means. So if you want to increase the width of one more than the other, you can do that. So let's see if I keep this as 1, and last one also 1, and between I will just say 2. So we have seen that sometimes on the left side we have some menu items, right side menu items, and in between the content is quite bigger. So these kind of layouts also we can create. So all this syncing and growing we can do with the help of the property called flex. So this is it for this video. Thank you. Welcome. Now let's look at another property. So now I am going to comment this piece. So in order to do a block comment, select it and press Ctrl/. So now I'm going to paste it here again, and instead of this, what we will do is I'm going to give each box a background color. So background color of orange, background color of azure, and background color of something else, maybe blue violet. If I go and see now how it looks, you will see. So if they all are occupying equal space, that's fine, perfect. Let me give another color to this azure, maybe cyan. So now they occupy equal space. So let's say our requirement was to have equal spacing left between this box and this box. How can we achieve that? So for that, first we have to go, because now the width 100% is being occupied by these flex items, 3 flex children's. So somehow we have to first give them width. So let's say in the container, which is this one, this container, I will give this div, every div, a width. So this width, I would say width of 30%, because container is 100%, so now 30% will be occupied by each, so we will be left with 10%. So let's see how it looks. So we see that there is a space left at the corner, but we don't want the space left to be at the corner. Or let's say the space is left at the corner, that's fine. So if I want to have the space left here, how can I achieve that? So we go to our style, and again on the container level or in the flex parent level, we have this property called justify content, and this is for horizontal aligning if we are using flex direction row. If we are using flex direction column, thus justify content becomes relevant for vertical aligning. So now I will say just flex start. So nothing changes. So in the next video we will see what will the flex end do. Let's go ahead and try to see what will happen if we apply the flex end property here. So we see the whole 10% space is left at the start, and the 1, 2, 3, all the three boxes have moved towards the right. So this is what the flex justify content flex start or the flex end property will do. Flex start will start from here, flex end will end here. So flex end will end here. So if I change it to flex start again, so it will start from here. So let's keep it to flex end. So we have left space left out with at the start. Thank you. What if I want the space, little bit of space left from here and from this corner, and all these three should be aligned at the center? Something like when we use a bootstrap container. So when we use bootstrap container, it leaves a space on the left and right, and it gives us just the elements gets aligned at the center somewhere here. So let's try to do that. So if I just say flex justify content center, you will see some space will be left here and here, and our all the contents are aligned within in the rest of the 90% space. And of course, if we do this, if we get rid of the width of each element, then of course it will be as good as bootstrap class container fluid. But we don't have to do that. We are learning Flexbox justify content center, and that will make sure the space is left on the left side and right side equal space, and the whole content is aligned in the center. So this is what justify content center will do. Thank you. Let's say I want to have space between them and also space around them like this. So let's go ahead and try it out. So again we will say justify content space around. As soon as we do this, we will see there's some, so this particular div has space left on the left side, this much. Same space is left up to here. Again this div has some space here, so that's why you are seeing it bigger, but actually each div has left equal space on its left and the right side, left and right side, left and right side. So this is what space around means, which means each flex item will leave equal space around them. Thank you. Now let's say I don't want space here, just I want space between them. So again we just go and change this to just space between. Justify content space between, and you see there is no space left at the corners, just the space is left in between. So again repeating, all these things are only valid if it is flex direction row, which is default. If we change it to flex direction column, the behavior will be different. So be aware of that fact. So flex direction row, If you want to achieve this, you have to do this. For the flex direction column, this justify content will act differently. Thank you. Welcome. Let's go ahead and I will try to reduce the content inside this. Let's see what will happen. So if I reduce the content from our second div, maybe more, and go back, you will see now the content occupies certain space, but it does not disturb the height and width of the div box itself. But if we were using the float, then we would have a problem that this could have collapsed and this div could have collapsed on top of it. Hence, we used to use the clear fix solution for allowing to occupy this much space and others should be separated from them. But in display flex, that's not a problem. If you content is also reduced, that's also fine. It is going to occupy the space or the width it has been provided, and that will not depend on the content. So content is independent of the width and height of the div. But that was not the case in the float. Float, the content would make the content sizing would make the collapsing of the width and height. So that's why using float is not a good idea. Thank you. Now if I want this box to come down vertically, then I can do that with the help of flex and property. You see, it's now at the bottom. So it is actually the content flex content is aligning vertically with align items. That's what is the point. Thank you. Welcome. Now let's say what I want to do is I want to enforce that if you are occupying this much content, then why are you taking this whole space also in the vertical direction? Horizontal direction it's fine because we have given a width of 30%, so it is okay. But vertically, why is this extra space? If I want to get rid of it, or in short, I want to vertically align my box, then there's another property called align items. So I will go and say align items, and this has the same values as the justify content, like flex and start, between, around, like that. So if I save this and go here, you will see now this box got stuck at the top because we said, because now we are having flex direction as row, so justify content is going to align things in the row, but align items is going to align items in the vertically. So we said it to align at the flex start, align items flex start. So from the vertically it's stuck at the top. Now it is only taking the height that the content is there. But if we, and the width it will take full because width we have given as 30% and also some padding. So this is what align items flex start would do when the direction is row. It will start from the top vertically, it will start from the top. Thank you. What if I want to bring this box center aligned somewhere here so that the space is left at the top and the bottom? For that we have, like in the justify content, we have the center value. Here also we have the value called center. So if we use that, you will see now the box is centrally aligned. There's a space at the top and space at the bottom. So again, align items in case of flex direction row helps us to align the components or the flex items vertically. Justify content helps to align items horizontally. Thank you. Welcome. Let's look at another property called flex basis. And this property is nothing different than the width. So what we do by providing width is exactly same as using the flex basis property. But as we are using flex, so we should use the flex property instead of width because the flex basis will help us achieve more responsiveness as compared to width. So I will comment the width by just pressing Control// and then just go ahead and use flex basis as 30% and it will exactly do the same thing. So if we go to the browser now, nothing will change. Everything is going to remain same. Thank you. Welcome. Let's go ahead and make this responsive. So if on the desktop now I want to reduce my width and keep reducing it, it goes like this. But what I want is on the mobile or on a certain width, this should be in this full line, this should be full line, and this should full line. So it should come one below another. So that is the responsiveness I would like to achieve. So let's see how we can do that. First of all, I would like to get rid of this align item center, that's not needed. And flex direction row is also not needed, by default it's there, but I will leave it as is for now, leave it. So now if you see, this is the design, and if I now try to reduce this, it looks like this, which is very bad. So we will apply media query to do some kind of responsiveness behavior. So I will say @media, and I will say when the max width up to a width of, let's say that way, up to a width of 768 pixel, I would like to do certain magic. What I would like to do is I would grab this container, and I don't need these things. Display flex will remain, space don't need. I will just change this direction to column. Flex direction should change to column up to 768. So let's refresh and then let's try to see if that's the case. Perfect. So you see, as if I am increasing now, after a certain point, this is changing the flex direction. So it has now become responsive in mobile. It's perfect. So this is what we can achieve with media query. With a certain particular device width, we can basically go ahead and change the properties, override the properties. Here we just overrided the flex direction property to column, and everything remains same, so it automatically became responsive. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. Welcome. Let's go ahead and look at another property which is interesting one called flex wrap. For that, I'm going to create another HTML called flex wrap.html, and also flex wrap.css. In our flex wrap HTML, I'm going to just say shift exclamation and hit enter. So it's going to generate us the markup for us. So flex wrap, and we will link this with the CSS file that we just created for flex wrap. Flex wrap.css, and this will have just, let's say, an h1 tag which say flex wrap property, and then we will have a div with a class we would call container that we will style later. There's a small typing mistake. If in Visual Studio Code, if you just say element dot class name, it's going to create this element with this class equal to like this, and then we will have a div, and we'll say 1, and I'm going to repeat this by pressing shift alt and down arrow few more times, and I'm going to just say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's it, and I'm going to right click on it and open in live server. So this is how our page looks. Let's continue in the next video. Welcome. Let's go ahead and style this container class. So copy this and I'm going to say container, and I'm going to just say background color as something that we will choose from here. Alright, let's see how it looks. So this is how it looks. And now what I would like to do is every box that I have, which is a div, nothing but a div, I would like to give it a height and width and a background color. So for that, I'm going to again say container, inside container every div, and that should have a width of 100 pixel, height of 100 pixel, and margin of 10. Margin of 10 pixel from all sides. Then we will have the text to be aligned center, and of course we will have the font size, let's say 32 pixel. Let's see how it looks. So this is how it looks. It is quite big, but we also have to give them a background color. So let's go ahead and do that. So background color of, let's see how this looks. So this is how our box looks, and let's also change, let's make it a little bit square. So instead of a height, what I will do, I will give a line height of 75 pixel maybe. Yes, so this is better. So now what we see, we have each div which is occupying this whole space there, because the property of div is like its display block, so it occupies the whole width. Same is for this one, same is for this one, so it's occupying the whole width of the in its row. But let's go ahead and apply the flex wrap property in our next video. Thank you. So first thing that we would like to do is bring this boxes one on the side of other. So we can do that very easily with the help of, if on the container of the flex, this is the container, right? In on the container, if we apply flex, uh, display flex, and direction is row, then automatically this will come one beside other. Even though it is a block element, doesn't matter, it's going to come one beside other. Let's go ahead and do that. On the container, let's apply flex, display flex. And of course, the direction is by default row, so we see that it is automatically aligned. Perfect. But if I do now like this, you see it is not becoming responsive, which is not good. So I have to now make it responsive, that if it should occupy equal space and others should fall down to the next one. So that's also very easy to do. We just have to say flex wrap, wrap. Now if I take this, you see, if I go further, this is the max I can go, but let's say in the mobile view, if I refresh now, so we can make responsive, see, it falls down very nicely. So this is automatically becoming responsive for us. Perfect. So if I do it 100%, you see it automatically falls down. So this is how you can achieve the responsive behavior. This is, you can create an image gallery like this, or portfolio projects like this. In that kind of design you can create with this flex wrap property. Thank you. So if we see that when we are doing this, there's a space that is left at the corner. We don't want that. So we already know how to do that. So what we have to do is we have to just go here and in the flex container and say flex justify content as space evenly. If we say evenly, it will have equal spaces. If we say around, that's also fine. So if I just do this, this is perfect. So now there will be no space left and it will be automatically taking equal spaces. So we can also do space. Instead of this, we can also say center. So whichever looks good for you, you can do that. So it will have equal space left from this side, and in the center it will have nice look and feel. So we now made a screen responsive with the help of Flex property and without the need of media queries. So this is the power of Flex. This is it for this video. Thank you for watching.